This program is brought to you by Emory University.
Very proud to have our esteemed guest here with us tonight. I'm going to leave her formal introduction to my colleague Michael Owens, but I wanted to say a few things about the Race and Difference Initiative before we start, just to give you all the background of events of the New Frontiers in Race and Difference Lecture Series, which is part of the institution-wide Race and Difference Initiative. This is an effort to transform Emory in many ways into a destination university, internationally recognized for research, teaching, and public dialogue on race and other intersecting forms of human difference. RDI represents a strategic investment by the university to understand and address the complexity of the human condition in a pluralistic democratic society. Or hopefully democratic, sorry. We work to achieve this goal by connecting a network of scholars and students within and beyond the university in an interdisciplinary dialogue, not only through events like these, but also through a graduate student network that we run, and I encourage any graduate students who are here to sign up for it and get involved, and other workshops and events on campus and beyond. We welcome you here tonight and hope you will continue to get involved in our ongoing activities. Please visit our website to sign up for our listserv so we can send you out all of our propaganda and up to date, let you know about all our plans. I want to welcome Michael Leo Owens, Associate Professor of Political Science, up to formally introduce our speaker. Professor Owens is the author of God and Government in the Ghetto, The Politics of Church and State, Collaboration in Black America, and is currently working on a really interesting project entitled Prisoners of Democracy, a study of the politics, policies, and attitudes that diminish the citizenship of felons in the United States.
Good evening, everyone. I believe that among the many reasons I was asked to introduce Professor Alexander, two of them I think really stand out. One is that I actually have read her book. I read it in its entirety, in a seminar on the realities of race. It was one of the central texts that we actually used to consider race in America today. The second reason is that folks know that I've actually met Professor Alexander before she came to campus today. That I had the great pleasure of participating in a symposium on the problem of punishment with her at the University of Virginia. Where one of the things that she really lifted up for us and made us really focus on was the idea of racialized punishment in the United States, but also how racial caste continues to work within the United States. Now, unlike Professor Alexander and many of us in this room, few Americans acknowledge a truth. And the truth is that we live in a United States of racialized punishment. Let's consider one measure of punishment: the ratio of adults under correctional control via prison, jail, parole, and probation. Nationally, 1 of every 31 adults is under correctional control. For whites, 1 in 45 is under correctional control. For Latinos, 1 in 27 is under correctional control. For blacks, 1 of every 11 adults in the United States is under correctional control. In Georgia, 1 in 13 adults, but more importantly, 1 in 9 black adults belong to the correctional control population, which means that Georgia ranks at the top of some list. By design, correctional control, especially via mass incarceration in response to the war on drugs, continues the historic control and regulation of deviant black bodies by and for the political, economic, and social benefit of whites. Additionally, the peculiar American of crime and social corrections create a racialized caste system, whereby blacks imprisoned in the USA are most likely to find that they are unable to become socially mobile by virtue of their former criminal convictions. Furthermore, while correctional control seems a race-neutral response to deviant behavior, doing nothing more than punishing law-breaking and offending members of any racialized group, right? Because plenty of whites are kind of caught up in this system. But it's not race-neutral, because it bears the marks of race-based implementation, enforcement, and even adjudication. Thus, the consequences of our nation's race-neutral laws are always racial to some degree. And these are the core theses of the new book, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness, authored by our colleague and guest this evening. Civil rights advocate, legal scholar, litigator, and author, Professor Alexander is a graduate of Vanderbilt University and Stanford University Law School. A 2005 recipient of a prestigious Soros Justice Fellowship, she is currently Associate Professor of Law at The Ohio State University and is an associate of the Kirwan Institute for the Study of Race and Ethnicity. Among other areas of legal expertise, Professor Alexander specializes in civil rights law and racial and gender discrimination. Before joining the law faculty at The Ohio State University, Professor Alexander was a faculty member of the Stanford University Law School and was director of its Civil Rights Clinic, as well as a former director of the Racial Justice Project at the American Civil Liberties Union of Northern California. Additionally, and probably envied by many legal scholars, Professor Alexander had also clerked for Supreme Court Justice Harry Blackmun, as well as Chief Judge Abner Mikva of the United States Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. The New Jim Crow is her first, but hopefully it will not be her last book. And with that, I'll say, Professor Alexander, that the floor and hopefully all of our minds are now open to you. So welcome to Emory University.
Thank you. Thank you.